What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today we have official word from Pokemon as far as Brilliant Pokemon, Shiny Pokemon, and the Wild area. Pokemon has been pretty dang secretive as far as the mechanics in this game, just because there's so many new mechanics that we just haven't seen in the series before, we know nothing about, and this is the first official word about pretty much any of it. And they're talking about Brilliant Pokemon. This is the gold wave thing that we've seen around Pokemon on routes and the Wild area. Finding Brilliant Pokemon can lead to finding Shiny Pokemon. This is the first news we've had of this. We see right here a Maractus with the gold waves around it. Sometimes you may see a Pokemon that give off a special aura. These wonderful Pokemon are known as Brilliant Pokemon, and you'll find they're typically higher level than the average Pokemon in the area. I honestly have never even noticed. They'll also know an unusual move, such as an egg move. We knew about that. And they'll have the highest possible individual strength for at least 2 or 3 of their stats. Nice, so we have actual confirmation that there are 2 to 3 max IVs for Brilliant Pokemon. You'll earn some watts each time you defeat a Brilliant Pokemon, with higher level Pokemon rewarding more watts. You can quickly find some excellent Pokemon by encountering as many Brilliant Pokemon as you can. As you catch or defeat more and more Pokemon of the same species, you'll gradually become more likely to find Brilliant Pokemon and Shiny Pokemon of that species in the future. You don't need to find these Pokemon consecutively, and you can see how many times you've encountered this species by checking your Pokedex. We have definitely seen that before in the Pokedex. If you select a Pokemon you see number battled, that's how many times you have defeated the Pokemon or caught that exact species of Pokemon. You have to have encountered a Pokemon at least one time for a Brilliant version of that Pokemon to appear. If I've encountered at least 20, then Brilliant Pokemon have a 1.3 times the likelihood of appearing. Alright, but after 50, Brilliant Pokemon have 1.6 times the likelihood of appearing, and Shiny Pokemon have 2 times the likelihood of appearing. This is actually completely in line with what we've heard already, that if you've battled anywhere from 1 to 49 Pokemon, then the Shiny rate goes from 1 in 4,096 in half to 1 to 2,048. At least 100 Pokemon, Brilliant Pokemon have 2 times the likelihood of appearing, and Shiny Pokemon have 3 times the likelihood of appearing. If you've battled anywhere from 50 to 100, this is 1/3 of that, so 3 times more likely. 200 gives us Shiny Pokemon, 4 times more likely, 300 is 5 times more likely, at least 500 Pokemon, 6 times the likelihood of appearing. This is pretty much completely in line with the information that we've gathered already. But it is really interesting learning how the Brilliant Pokemon spawn more up until encountering 100 of them. Once you've encountered a species of Pokemon 100 times, you'll max out your chance of finding Brilliant Pokemon of the same species at double the original odds. These odds of finding a Shiny Pokemon of that species won't max out until a whopping 500 encounters, where you'll have 6 times the normal odds. These odds are still pretty long, so if you're crazy about Shiny Pokemon, it's a good idea to work toward completing your Pokedex and earning a Shiny Charm. We covered that in the video on Shiny Pokemon. Every time you defeat a Pokemon in the wild, you'll also be much more likely than usual to see more Pokemon of the same species appear for a short time. This is where they start talking about chaining, which we don't know a lot about chaining, so this is good. If you're a big fan of a certain species of Pokemon, it might be a good idea to encounter several each time you walk through the wild area to gradually build up your odds. If you're a big fan of a Pokemon, make sure to murder them all. Nothing says your fandom like genocide. Plus, since you'll be battling the same species of Pokemon repeatedly, it can also be a great way to earn specific base points for your team. Okay, this is talking about Eevee training. Now we're also learning about Brilliant Pokemon with fishing. My entire time playing the game, I've only seen a Brilliant fishing spot once. You can also find Brilliant Pokemon by fishing in the wild area. The number of times you've battled any one species won't matter at all for fishing. Okay. Instead, you need to defeat many Pokemon consecutively, no matter which species appears. So this is kind of going back to, I think, how it was with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, with fishing in one spot and constantly battling Pokemon. However, it's going to be a lot easier than it was in Oris. Pretty sure it was Oris. Maybe it was X and Y. There was a chance that you didn't catch a Pokemon on your hook, and that would fail. Of all the fishing I've done, I have never not encountered a Pokemon. 0 to 2 successful hooks, Brilliant Pokemon may appear. 3 to 6 successful hooks, Brilliant Pokemon are 1 times 3 likely to appear. 7 to 14 successful hooks, Brilliant Pokemon are 3.3 times the likelihood of appearing. This goes from 15 to 24 at 6.6, and 25 plus, brilliant Pokemon have a 16.6 times likelihood of appearing. This sounds pretty much in line with what we were hypothesizing with the rerolls as far as Pokemon and the increased shiny rate. So is chaining only for chaining fishing Pokemon? By what it says here, we are led to believe that what we know about chaining does mean for fishing. If you keep getting bites and defeating your catches, you'll start to find more and more brilliant Pokemon. But beware, if you fail to reel a Pokemon in, if you're not paying attention, or if you catch a Pokemon, run away from a Pokemon, leave the area, or turn off your game, then the chain will break. Okay. So you cannot catch the Pokemon, you have to defeat them. You cannot run away from them, you cannot leave the area, you cannot turn off your game. I also assume this means you can't scare away the fishing spot. Like if you were to get onto your bicycle, it scares away the fishing spot, that will probably break your chain. After 25 successful hooks, you'll cap out at over 16 times the initial odds of finding a brilliant Pokemon. So it'd be quite rewarding to build a big streak. The thing is, this doesn't give us any information in regard to how these brilliant Pokemon will affect shiny Pokemon. So this is what it is for brilliant Pokemon of appearing, but nothing as far as shiny Pokemon appearing. Max raid battles. Okay, the wild area is full of what are known as Pokemon dens. Sometimes you'll come across a Pokemon den that is releasing a pillar of light. You can walk up to such dens and start a max raid battle with the Dynamax Pokemon. More difficult max raid battles are denoted by more vibrant lights, the purple ones, and more stars in the battle description. These Pokemon will sometimes have hidden abilities or high individual strengths. We've already found a correlation for individual values and stars. That 1 star is 1 max IV, all the way up to 4 stars equals 4 max IVs. 5-star Pokemon are still 4 max IVs. Once you acquire more gym badges, you'll start to see dens emitting strong purple pillars of light. Dens emitting this light are more likely to house rare Pokemon. This is what we've seen with the pillars being the rare spawn tables, alright. If you're really lucky, you might even encounter a Pokemon with a Gigantamax factor in a 5-star max raid battles after you've earned the Dragon Badge late in your adventure. Oh great, so we do have confirmation that you need to have all 8 badges in order to catch wild Gigantamax Pokemon. In addition to Pokemon with the Gigantamaxing factor, some other Pokemon may also appear in the wild area only in max raid battles. These include some of the more powerful evolved Pokemon, so max raid battles could be a great way, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. If you find a den that isn't active, you can activate it by throwing in a valuable wishing piece, which you can purchase or find in the wild area. This will allow you to trigger a max raid battle, and if you're really lucky, you may even attract a wild Gigantamax Pokemon when using a wishing piece. As my rudimentary math has come up with already, you have a 10% chance to get a purple beam, and then you have a 1.75% chance to get a Gigantamax Pokemon in a purple beam. That is, if that individual den has a rare table for a Gigantamax Pokemon. You can also activate a bunch of dens at once by completing max raid battles at all active Pokemon dens in the wild area. When you do, a new set of dens will light up, and at least one should have a strong pillar of light. We've seen this. This way you'll never get stuck waiting until the next day for more battles. And then it goes into weather in the wild area, which we've covered so much in depth on the channel. And it goes into, for instance, you'll normally see more water, electric, and dragon type Pokemon during thunderstorms, and some rare Pokemon only appear during types of weather. I've made a full video on how to even choose the weather that you want in the wild area. There are hikers who will give you items in return for 100 watts. The quality of these items will increase a little once you have 2 gym badges, and then again once you become champion. Okay, so once you have 2 gym badges, you can get the medium candies, and then once you become champion, you can get the large and extra large candies. That's what I'm going to assume here. You also need to become champion before certain larger Pokemon appearing wandering outside of the tall grass in the wild area. We've seen that, especially like, think of Caparaja right outside of Hammerlock. It only appears once you become champion. Finally, you receive far more watts from Pokemon dens after you become champion. Yes, 500 for an active, you get 2,000. Instead of 50 for a non-active, you get 200. It's just really nice that we're finally getting information here that confirms what we've thought. Well, there we go. The Pokemon Company has finally given us official information as far as shiny Pokemon and brilliant Pokemon. It's probably what I'm going to put in the thumbnail, because today we've already talked about ultra rare shiny, so let's talk about brilliance. If you've seen all of my Sword and Shield videos to this point, there isn't too much brand new stuff that we haven't put together already. Although getting confirmation on it is absolutely fantastic. I cannot stress enough how important it is that, you know, getting official terms like this validates what we've thought and what we've talked about. I'm always hesitant on putting out video information that I'm still unsure of. Thank you guys for sticking with me. We're exploring Galar together, and I'm having a fantastic time. I know that today, the 21st, the servers were down and someone actually found a Gigantamax Grimmsnarl using my strategy, my method with the stones and everything, and I wasn't able to join in because I kept disconnecting. And then finally once, and then it broke out and he was able to, you know, regenerate the Gigantamax raid, but wasn't able to join in. Well guys, I'm wrapping up this video. If you haven't done so, hit the like button down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.